And I cannot overstate how important it is, these monthly seminars with Yair Davidiy. It cannot be overstated, the importance of the ongoing reunification of the 12 tribes of Jacob, Israel, under assault by armadas worldwide now in every way, Amalekite, Amalek, Esav, Ishmael, what we have seen since October 7th, and also in England and Holland and Scandinavia with the Arabs and the Muslims. It's very simple. Most Arabs, Muslims, and Africans have to be sent back where they came from. We don't help the third world by destroying the first world. And this is going to have to be done. Also, God himself, as we know in Ezekiel 38 and 39, and Yair Davidiy writes and speaks on this topic, all nations marching against Israel will be destroyed. The Azeri, Amalekite, they're not Persians, they're Israelis. The Ayatollahs and their dictatorship in Iran will be destroyed. That's not the Iranian people. The communist Chinese dictatorship will be destroyed. They're all gone with the wind. When you shoot missiles and rockets at Jerusalem, at Israel, what's the real target? It's not me and Yair. It's God himself. This happened before the flood. This happened with the Tower of Babel. The idea, we'll shoot missiles at God and rockets. We'll build them. We will defy our creator. As if such people could have such a silly thought that you're going to shoot missiles at the very God who created you, Hassan Rouhani and Ali Khamenei. That was your choice. You'll all be swept away and die in your iniquity soon enough. So now let me do my rainmaking spiel for Yair and for myself. Please support the work of Yair Davidiy, Brit-Am, and Hebrew Awareness. As the author of many books, essays, videos constantly being posted, a goldmine of information which people from the lost tribes nations, and I'm not now talking about the Pashtun in Afghanistan and Pakistan, I'm talking about primarily the English-speaking Northwest European and Scandinavian nations. It doesn't mean everybody there, but a lot of buddies must wake up now. God will take care of it. We have to do our part. Like when the Red Sea was going to be parted, Nachshon ben Aminadab had to step in first. We all have to do our part. The most important iron dome that protected the land of Israel is the God of Israel, but we still needed a physical one down here. We have to call upon him 24/7. Unfortunately, for strange reason, the Iranians have no problem calling upon the very God in whom their rebellion, or maybe the demonic deity they serve. So anyway, please support the work of Yair Davidiy, Brit-Am, and Hebrew Awareness. And please support Lowell's work, that's me, to build our Root and Branch Association Limited, Henry Dunster College of Jerusalem, Israel. Henry Dunster was the first president of Harvard College, established in 1636. We are replanting the old Harvard and the new Jerusalem, and in 12 years, in 2036, hope to celebrate the work that we have underway to replant Harvard in Jerusalem. I don't think I'm telling anyone anything they don't know, that Harvard University, which was named after John Harvard and which they dreamed about and built from nothing, no longer exists. It's morally, intellectually, and spiritually bankrupt. The buildings there are no different from mausoleums in a giant cemetery of broken dreams and shattered faith and hopes. There's nothing there anymore. So here in Jerusalem, we are building our Hebrew Bible-based broadcasting network to share life-giving traditional Israelite teachings with our fallen world. That's why we have these seminars each month with Yair Davidiy and his friends and colleagues from all over the world who are joining us. And to honor the God-land Torah and people of Israel and all humanity, please join us as a builder of our Hebrew Bible-based broadcasting network. Send your support today, and to thank the small and growing number of people who are doing just that. And now, without further ado, let me hand over the mic to our chairman, Mr. Davidiy, for another illuminating talk. Yair, it's all yours.
Shalom. I just thought I'd go through the latest news because we talk about lost and tribes. We say lost and tribes. are to be found amongst Western nations. We don't say that everyone in those areas and the areas concerned are descended from Israelites, but we do say that that is where the lost tribes are, according to the Bible, according to the sources. That is where the lost tribes are to be found. There may be scattered elements here and there from elsewhere, but the Bible says this is where they are. That they're in the West. And the other religious sources also say the same. And empirical evidence also points in that direction. So that is what we have to concentrate upon. That is what we do concentrate upon. We don't know if they are the majority of the people in those regions or just a substantial minority. The indications are, at least in some areas, they are the majority of the population. But we will eventually find out. The point is, though, that someone who comes from those areas who believes they descend from Muslim tribes, so they probably are such. They are so. But they cannot be sure. They have you could say that no one can be really sure of anything, but no, we have a certain certainty, accepted certainty in society. Most people accept the fact that they are the sons of their fathers, even though no one guarantees it. You go after the majority, you go after the accepted social understanding. Not if God forbid you commit a crime against a person who is considered your father, the law will punish him more drastically than it would someone else, because society accepts that. We accept that. Also in the biblical law. In biblical law, if someone struck his father and wounded him, they could be put to death under certain circumstances. Whereas for a non person, they could not. So the Bible also recognizes this. So the point I'm trying to say is the Jews are Jews because their parents were Jews. They have been Jews forever and ever, or they converted in a way that the Bible was established as being acceptable to be accepted into the people of Judah. Whereas for the lost tribes, we haven't got that. The lost tribes can only know that according to our researchers, according to their inner feelings, according to their instincts, according to how the idea resonates with them, how the proofs speak to them, they can be reasonably certain. But it's not entirely there. It's not entirely concretized, as if to say. It's not. There's no stamp on it. When eventually the Messiah, son of Joseph, who will lead the 10 tribes, when they return, he will enable them to do so. He will enable them to know who they are. He, or the Messiah, son of David, who will follow after him, will also enable each and every descendant of Israel to know to which tribe they belong to. But until that time comes, until we get there, we won't know. They won't know. So they have to live with what they have. Why do I mention this? Because something came up recently when people were, as if to say, complaining where they were, because even though they believe they are from the lost tribes of Israel, they do not feel accepted by the Jews, by the Jewish brothers. So the Jews will not accept them. The Jews have reasons for this. The Jews will also not accept someone who is Jewish, but has gone off and joined up and linked themselves up to another religion. That is reality. So that is what we are faced with, and we have to live within the constraints of that reality has given to us. Almighty has given us these constraints of our existence in order to cope with them, in order to the best we can within what they have. And we understand, Brit-Am understands that these people believe they descend from Muslim tribes. They should concentrate on that. Should learn the Bible. They should be good people. They should confirm do what they can to confirm the Israelite ancestry, to learn about it, to understand the proofs, to understand the empirical evidence, to understand what they have to be proud of, to relate to Judah as brothers, regardless of as to how Judah relates to them. That is what we understand things to be. Another point that came up was just recently, Saturday night, 13th of April, about 2 o'clock in the morning, Israeli time. I am asleep. I don't know if I should be asleep or just resting, but I was in my bed, like a good citizen should be at that hour of the night. Suddenly I hear an enormous boom, 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 as if it was just beside my dwelling. So we'd already been told that the Iranians, Persians, were going to fire missiles and rockets at us, and that was apparently what was going on. That is what did happen, and I didn't bother getting out of bed, but my son did. My son lives a few kilometers away from me. One of my sons, a good few kilometers away from me, but in the same general area. And he went out in the veranda with his elder children, and they looked up and they saw the rockets being shot down, the streaks of light like elaborate fireworks in the sky, putting these rockets and these missiles out of existence. You can see photos of them now, you can see photos on the news, but they saw it in actuality in real time. Before then, they had taken the younger children and they'd put them in a kind of bomb shelter beside the besides their house, but just to be extra precaution, to take extra careful, to take extra precautions. There's no real need for it. So, and similar experiences happened throughout Israel. On the other hand, I had another son in Samaria, in Shomron, in the middle of Israel, and he didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. Another son in the south, he also didn't see anything. They missed the action. So that is what happened. And about 300, how many? 300 of these missiles, of these objects, were fired at us, and they were all shot down. About 200 or close to 200 were shot down in Israel. Another 100 were shot down by America and by Britain. Britain and America working together, the British working out of an air base in Cyprus, which is not far off. But Britain and America also have air bases in Kurdistan and Iraq. And not only did the British help shoot down some of these rockets and missiles, but they also relieved the Americans. The Americans have daily tasks that they carry out, patrols different airlines and so on. So they had to take people off planes off these regular routes in order to help shoot down these missiles that were coming over. So the British took over for them. In other words, fill their place, relieve them of that having to worry on that area. Also, Jordan is said to have helped to some degree, but it's not certain. Also, France, I don't know why, but France is frequently mentioned as having helped. France did help, may not have helped, we don't know, but France has been supportive. The day beforehand, or 2 days beforehand, Iran had already announced its intention of shooting these objects at us. And the USA, UK, France, and Germany warned Iran that a blow at Israel would be a blow at them, that they would defend Israel. And so they issued the warning. We see that most of the countries helping Israel are those countries where we find a good portion of the lost tribes to be, where we identify as being dominated by descendants of lost tribes. Germany is difficult. We identify Germany as dominated by Edom and by others from Yaphet, but there may well have been elements from Edom in Germany because it was in that area, in people from Israelite Israelite tribes did pass through that region and when they went to North America in the 1700s, 1800s. And some may have stayed behind. It is true that in World War II, they did not act like it, like brothers, Israelites to the Jewish people. But the situation, don't know what the situation was, how it was, what their possibilities were. And you have to take into allowance certain exceptional possibilities. At all events, the overwhelming majority of those countries who support Israel, have been with Israel, faithful to Israel, and help the state of Israel exist and keep going, are those nations who identify as belonging to the lost tribes. Well, so they are, on the whole, they are those countries where there is less anti-Semitism than in other areas. They are the most pro-Jewish, one could say, or the least anti-Semitic of all the other peoples. And that is one of the qualities that we take, one of the parameters, one of the points of classification, criteria that we use to discern if people belong to the lost tribes or do not. We should also, another point that which we have an article about it. The USA and Britain are now in Kurdistan. They are strongly entrenched in Kurdistan, and the Kurds actually want them to be there. They even took a poll, according to a survey. They found a very high level of acceptance from the Kurdish population of having the Americans and Britons in that country. After all, they're protecting them. And they get along, at least up until now, quite well. And according to our understanding of the book of Micah, in the book of Micah, chapter 10, it says in the end times, Ephraim will return from the north of the land of Israel, through Matzor. Matzor, we identify Matzor, and some translation says Matzor is Mitzrayim, that is Egypt. So it's not necessarily so. In fact, it's not so. It doesn't in the Hebrew. Mitzrayim is Egypt. The word Mitzrayim nearly always connotes Egypt, but in some cases it doesn't. In this case, it doesn't even say Mitzrayim. It says Matzor, which was the name of an area to the north of the Assyrian Empire, which is in those who read Assyrian texts, as we did in our researches. I often come across this country named Matzor. It's just an area in the region of Kurdistan. And the prophet says that the 10 tribes, when they return, they will come through them, or a portion of them will come through Matzor, the cities of Matzor. So this could be a beginning. The Americans and the British being in that area and preparing themselves to remain in that area for an extended period of time, and actually helping the state of Israel from that region, they may be fulfilling the prophecy or preparing the way to fulfill the prophecy. So that is a point of interest.